what's up, everybody? I'm sorry. We're back for another episode. It feels like a minute since we've been back, huh?
I mean, it has kind of been a
doing
minute.
some fillers.
Oh, God damn it.
Excuse me.
Fucking daddy fat sacks over here never shows up. I'm just kidding.
Hey, man.
It was a combo. I didn't show up either.
Hey, last weekend, that wasn't my fault. So, suck it.
It's between me and you. If it ever goes fucking, we don't have an episode, it's either fucking...
It's whoever had the rough weekend of lady boys and cocaine.
Yep, pretty much,
I mean, it's not even not having an episode. It's just a traditional, like, OG style episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be an episode out. It's just, with the three of us, it's been kind of rough this last week.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Shit's going downhill, and I'm just ready for this fucking... I was more than ready for this fucking week to be over on Tuesday. I just got I got butt fucked by life. That shit sucked.
Was no lube.
Nope. It went in fucking raw DZ.
Sandpaper.
I was fucking had me with it face down, ass up, bind down on the pillow crying.
Didn't even give you a pillow. You had to bite your own arm.
I'm in danger.
So today we got some fun shit for you.
I mean, it's really fucked up, but...
Today, we're going over some of the history of the death penalty in Arizona, as well as a couple cases that these two jokers have of some death penalty cases here.
Who's going first? Me?
Well, I can always start because I have more the history portion of it.
All right.
And then,
Fuck me, huh?
Daddy Fat Sack seems ready to go, so we'll have him next, and we'll have Mr. Duffy third.
Let's fucking go.
So, Arizona law actually currently allows inmates to choose between the gas chamber or lethal injection. So, question, would you rather gas chamber it or get lethally injected by Ice Cube?
I'm doing the chamber.
Yeah, it seems like lethal injection has more botches from what I was reading.
Yeah.
Isn't that why they temporarily suspended it?
I thought she was a gas chamber.
Huh? Who?
I'll show you the fucking
might have
gas
been
chamber.
You do every day at work.
Well, there's two cases, and they suspended it for like a decade.
Yeah.
They brought it back. Vietnam.
So the Arizona death penalty, Florence Prison, was the first prison in Arizona in early 1900s. It was equipped with a death chamber located one floor above the cells on death row. And the death chamber itself was a scaffold, and in the floor a trapdoor was constructed through which the bodies of the hanged fell into the room below. That's kind of a fucked up way to go.
What do you mean they do it? Just drop the bodies in there?
Yeah.
So, like, what?
Death sentences have been carried out in Florence since 1910. So yeah, basically they would hang them. Once they knew they were dead, they would just like cut the rope or drop the bodies through a hole and deal with them that way. There was actually a botched hanging in 1930. Jose Lopez was the first individual executed by the hanging at Florence, and this was January 5th, 1910. Now, after the execution of that guy, 8 more people were executed. And then again on December 8th, 1916, an initiative measure went into effect eliminating the death penalty as punishment for convictions of first-degree murder. And then on December 5th, 1918, it was restored. And they had 19 executions between April 16th, 1920 and June 20th, 1931. And then they went into lethal gas, which had a botched execution in 92. And the gas was actually a form of cyanide. And the first execution was carried out when 2 brothers, Manuel and Fred Hernandez, were executed at 5 a.m. on July 6, 1934. On March 4th, 1962, Manuel Silvas was executed by lethal gas at 5:08 a.m. Now that doesn't sound pretty damn good. And then the death penalty yet again got fucking suspended from April of 1962 to April 1992. In between those points, there were absolutely no executions at all. And then there was just a ton of legislature and all this other bullshit done that stopped. And then finally, after 30 years, there was another guy, Donald E. Harding, that was put to death by lethal gas, April 5th of 92. And then in November 1992, they finally approved lethal injection. Now, any person who committed a crime prior to November 23rd, 92, and was sentenced to death may choose lethal gas or lethal injection. And the implementation of lethal injection, 14 inmates have been executed using this method. And the last prisoner executed by lethal gas was March 3rd, 1999.
Wow.
Yeah.
So right now, we just do gas here in Arizona and injections.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bring the fucking chair, brother.
So apparently, though, in 2002, they were stating something about execution of mentally incompetent criminals. They set it as cruel and unusual punishment and prohibited it by the Eighth Amendment. Mentally incompetent to be executed means that due to a mental disease or defect, a person who is sentenced to death is presently unaware that he is punished for the crime of murder, or that he is unaware of the impending punishment for that crime is death. Ba-ba-ba-boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, it was banned again for a while, and then recently the death penalty came back yet again. And I don't think this is one of the most recent ones, but this was one that sounded extremely fun. So, Daddy Fat Sex, it is on you, baby boy.
Oh, yay. So mine is about Eva Duggan. I believe, if I'm correct, she was the first female to be executed here in Arizona.
Yes.
Little quick history about her. She was born in 1878.
Oh, shit.
She was executed February 21st in 1930 in Florence. I believe her crime was for murder. So here we go. Born in Salisbury, Missouri in 1878, Duggan later married and had 2 children, a son and a daughter, but her husband abandoned the family, leaving them destitute. Duggan relocated to the Juneau territory. Is that correct? Does that sound right?
I believe
of
so.
Alaska.
Oh, Juneau?
Juneau, yeah, of Alaska. She was part of that Klondike gold rush of 1896 to 1899. After all that crap happened, she became a cabaret singer and worked as a prostitute. Yeah, my type of woman. To support her and her children. Many years later, she moved to Pima County, Arizona.
Ho, ho, ho.
So her crime as follows. Duggan became a live-in housekeeper where she lived with a gentleman named Andrew J. Mathis. He was a wealthy chicken ranch owner. Very quickly, the employer and employee relationship became, what is that? Like, I don't even.
Cantankerous.
Damn, there you go. You
was it?
got me. Whoa, whoa, man,
You
this
hear that?
guy's good. What's up?
Oh, never mind.
So the two often bickered with each other back and forth. Other because Mathis hated Duggan's cooking, so her cooking must have really sucked. He wasn't satisfied with her work either.
I mean, back in the 30s, if cooking sucked, typically men would beat their wives.
But that's the thing, though. It's not even his wife. She was just like a housemaid, you know?
Housemaid slash maid
Prostitute.
with benefits.
So I watched a little documentary on him. I guess what this guy would end up doing is Andrew would go out and downtown and find these Johns and bring them back to the ranch, supposedly, and she would fuck them. So I guess she'd charge like $3.
What
Off
the
that,
fuck?
yeah, after $3, she would guess pay him like 50 cents for each one. So that was kind of interesting.
So
$3
he
is
was a
less than a
pimp
bag
named
of hot
Slickback.
Cheetos.
Well, back in the day, dude,
That was a lot of money.
Slinging that.
You could go to the fucking like a fast food joint and get a burger for a nickel.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean,
days.
yeah,
Gas was 10 cents a gallon.
Was she good looking at least?
no,
Oh, gross.
no. I
ugly
mean, from the
bitch.
pictures I've seen from her online on the web, she's haggard.
Jesus. Look like fucking, what's the name of that fucking chick from Matilda? Mrs. Trunchbull?
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
something like
Oof.
That's what she almost looks like.
Oof.
Well, here's a picture of her real quick.
She looked like a bull.
Ah, gross.
Ah!
We're paying $3 for that? I'll give you a nickel and I want some change.
That's fucked up, man. All right, so where was I at? All right, here we go.
About the ranch, taking him back to the ranch, charging.
So
him
yeah,
money.
so she would charge $3. He
Overcharging.
would get 50 cents of that $3. After a while, it just became too much for them. They kept fighting back and forth. One day, I guess the neighbors reported that she tried to sell like all his livestock.
Oh fuck!
So it got a little suspicious, I guess. Or why is this lady trying to sell his livestock? And I guess she was saying that Mr. Mathis was out of town and he had a trip to California and he had left everything to her. So
my question is, in the background was all they heard, "Goodbye horses." I would play a snippet of it, but we'd get copyright.
the neighbors didn't believe any of that. They didn't want nothing to do with it. They didn't want to buy none of that stuff. So she just ended up, I guess, stealing his vehicle and some other items in the house and disappeared. Meanwhile, the authorities, on the other hand, they could never find him.
Yeah.
So it was still a little suspicious, but they were looking for her still as a suspect due to his disappearance.
Right.
So eventually, the police discovered that Duggan had a father in California and a daughter in White Plains, New York.
Oh, damn.
So through Duggan refused to give information about the identity of either of her children, police only found her daughter leaving the identity of her son a secret.
Oh, shit.
So she had been married 5 times, and all of her husbands had disappeared. So,
That's
maybe
a red flag right
Five.
there.
Yeah,
times?
5 times, and all of them
Smashing that poom poom.
all beat up.
Gross.
That's
You're
what
willing, you're
happens.
willing, I guess.
So she ended up stealing this guy's car. I guess she sold the Dodge Coupe for $600 in Kansas City, Missouri. She was arrested in White Plains when a postal clerk alerted by the police intercepted a postcard to her from her father in California. She was extradited to Arizona to face automobile theft charges and convicted. She was imprisoned. So she was only imprisoned just for that at the time for theft.
Right.
While she was in prison, they ended up finding the body. So it was just a ways from the ranch, and I guess like a hiker. It's always some fucking hiker finding these fucking bodies. He was like hiking around the ranch area and felt like he stepped on this area of the property where it kind of looked a little disturbed in the other part and kind of sunk in. So then they ended up finding his body buried.
Damn.
So then she was charged eventually with the murder charge. And that's what got her executed. But to pay for her own coffin, Duggan gave interviews to the press for $1 each. And she sold embroidered handkerchiefs that she knit while she was imprisoned. So she was making that money in prison.
So some selling interviews for $1, but she's slaying gross pussy for $3.
She couldn't slang that poon no more.
Oof, that's a
Hey, her hustle game was hard.
That's a hard sell, dude.
You can talk to me for $1, fuck me for $3.
Jesus. Like, what if I give you 5 and you just fucking leave me alone?
Nope, gotta fuck me.
Gross.
So, I mean, with the trial went, she was gonna get executed,
Right.
and back then they chose to hang her. So,
That's what you get.
yeah, so they chose to hang her. So she also made for her hanging a silk beaded jazz dress, but later relented it and wore a cheap dress as she was worried that her silk wrapper might get mused, whatever that means.
I don't know. And it was all a muse.
So that, she wore that little shitty ass white dress, but the shittiest part for this poor lady is that
I mean, not poor lady.
Can't
Come
poor
on
lady.
now.
Fuck that bitch.
hey man, you never know, these guys were probably beating her, and look, the other guy was just pimping her out on the ranch. Probably got
I mean,
Yeah, but
I'm
she was a
pretty
prostitute,
sure,
so she was okay with
Because if you
it.
think about it, $3 a John, and he only took 50 cents. That leaves her $2.50.
Yeah, she was making like a champ on that. That was all her.
I'm pretty sure
Back
she
then,
wasn't.
money's a lot more. So like now, money that's like fucking 2 hot dogs and a thirst buster, my guy.
Yeah, but this guy ranch hand was treating her like shit too.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
Constantly.
she was fighting back. I don't think she'd be like, no.
No, she was getting
don't
her
make me
ass
sell my
kicked. Damn it.
pussy.
You wanted to be
So-
poor, but it wasn't
Should've
poor. So
fucking
what
bobbed and
happened to this
weaved.
dumb broad?
So the shitty part is for this poor lady is that when
Poor lady.
they went to hang her, she made her peace. She wasn't one of those that started becoming a Bible thumper and all that shit because
dude,
she was
I
gonna
fucking
die.
Called it, bro.
No, she wasn't. No,
Oh, she did it?
No, no,
Oh, she's
none
like,
of that.
"Fuck you guys."
Yeah, she was
All right.
just like, I know what I did, and I'm gonna have to pay for it. But upon hanging her, when they did hang her, I guess back in the day, their calculations on how they drop them
Yeah.
from the rope, it was just like too much of a drop to where it decapitated her head.
Oh shit.
So they're lying her
fuck
head. I guess I heard that there was like 3 ladies and 2 guys that were witness to the hanging, and they just like lost it when they just saw her head and her body fall, and the head just roll right by
'cause
their feet.
What's the goal of hanging them was for the rope to snap their neck and then just
Yeah.
die, right?
I heard
read
it
it.
was like a 13-foot thing that they went on, and then it was like the drop when they opened the door. It was just too much. Like the drop was just way too far, or the rope was too long,
Yeah.
or I don't know how that works, but
Because normally I think it's only like a couple foot drop.
yeah,
Because that's enough by the sudden just inertia of everything.
yeah. So
Kind of.
they were saying this one was like 13 to 10 feet. So it just literally took her fucking head off.
Jesus.
Hell
I was-
yeah.
I was
Bitch
reading
got
like
what
the
she
list of like
deserved.
decapitations on like Wikipedia, and that was a lot of them. Like
Yeah.
accounted for was the hangings, like because too much rope and they hit the ground. Then for one guy, it was too much rope. He hit the ground, and then fucking 4 dudes had to go on the top,
Yeah.
and they pulled him up by the rope for like 15 minutes until he fucking died of suffocation.
I mean, you think you'd be able to get that right when the
Strangulation.
first one's kind of fucked up. Maybe they're just doing this shit on purpose.
I don't know, man. I would if it was me, I'd have fun with it. I'd have a fake lever,
Yeah.
like 1, 2, 3. Cut. I got you. And then you push it forward, and then they go.
You're an evil fuck, dude.
Well, we're not executing the innocent.
Well, it's like lethal injection. First, you inject them with the world's strongest laxative. So right as their stomach starts bubbling, then they die.
What?
Or fucking what is it? The execution, the hanging.
Yeah.
You fucking pull the lever, they go down, but there's a floor right beneath them, so it doesn't snap their neck. But underneath it, there's a firing squad. Surprise!
Get him! Plot twist.
Well, no, for that, you just have to do where the rope's long enough so they fall down. And since, it's typically the platform is elevated like 10, 15 feet, they drop to the ground, break their legs, and then the firing squad shoots them while they're down.
Or fucking even better, they fucking hit the ground. They look up to see what happened. Fucking cobra. Just through the hole.
Or they slowly drop them, so like mid-suffocation, right when they're in the most amount of pain trying to gasp for air, then the firing squad hits them, but only in the limbs.
You guys are sick fucks.
Drops them. More ropes. Draw and quarter them.
Yes. Yes.
I was reading one where they try to do a draw and quarter on somebody, but it didn't work. Like their limbs didn't tear, so they had to saw them off. Like,
Wow. So that was mine. Poor Eva.
so I got a
God
packet
bless her.
here.
Bitch got what she deserved.
All right, I got a packet here. Ready?
Hit me.
So the one I chose to do was Frank J. Atwood. Male, height 6'8", weight 173, hair color brown, eye color blue, Caucasian. He was executed on 6/8/2022.
Damn.
So at the beginning of this month. He was housed in the Browning unit, which would be Florence, I believe.
Yeah, so the only reason we know these units is work. That's all I'll say. Does it say what his last meal was?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Are you a huge cunt?
Us too. Wait, can we even say cunt?
Of course! It's empowering these days. Cunt, 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 cunt. I'm Ange Ballastone, aka the drag queen, That Girl Gina.
And I'm Mike Fales, just a normal gay guy, I guess?
And we're the hosts of The Big Cunty Couch.
A gorgeous new talk show podcast where we invite queers and peers to sit, bitch, and be fierce on a huge-ass couch.
While we gab about all things gay.
So come get cozy.
And cunty.
With us. We're panned for platforms, so find us anywhere online and get listening, sweetie.
Or watching.
Or both.
Otherwise, why the hell am I in full drag?
And we'll see you on the big... Oh, wait. I thought we were going to say that together.
No. On The Big Cunty Couch. Mwah.
It doesn't say it, but I looked it up. So his last meal was actually a combination. It's like a platter of like salami, mustard, peanut butter, jelly, wheat bread, corn chips, and then he had a thing of water and then juice.
And a bag of whole shebangs.
But initially he had refused his meal.
Extreme cheese crunchies.
Yeah, he originally had he didn't want his last meal because he said he was what's it called? He was fasting. But then he's like, "Fuck it. What are you fasting for? You're gonna die. You're dying in the morning. Take your fucking meal."
Maybe he wanted to shit himself.
I'd be
Honestly,
like,
I
all the best
want to
shit.
shit, dude.
I'd be
Make
like,
the biggest mess
give
I
me
can.
all the chili dogs from Sonic.
Let's make
Give me
a
some
mess.
cheddar biscuits.
As soon as you die, just fucking...
Fuck
All
that, dude.
over.
I'm doing it before I die.
right,
So I'm
when
still
they,
alive.
right when they
yourself.
right as you see the liquid start going in, just fucking push hard.
Yep. Captain Squishy Pants.
Hell yeah.
Try to fucking break loose enough so you can fling it at somebody.
If I'm going down, y'all motherfuckers are going down with me. You're all gonna be in the shit.
Just write red rum on the window where they view it.
Shit. The shit out of
shit.
rum.
All right, so the
Is that
article
a
on it,
peanut?
if anybody wants to look up the article, on Wikipedia, it's under the title of The Murder of Vicky Lynn Hodgkinson.
Hodgkinson?
No, Hodgkinson.
Hodgkinson?
Hoskinson.
The fuck kind of name is that?
Hodgkinson.
Hodgkinson.
Don't make fun of her, man. She's dead.
I'm the Hodgkinson.
All right, so Vicky Lynn Hodgkinson. I'm gonna just call her Vicky. I'm not gonna fucking hawk loongies to say this every goddamn time.
Vicky Huck Foreskin.
Hoskins.
Hoss.
So Vicky, all right. So she was born February 2nd, 1976, and died September 1984. They don't have an exact date because at first she was missing, and then they found the remains a couple months later. So she initially so she was 8 when she died.
Damn,
She disappeared in Tucson, Arizona. She was bicycling to the mail to drop off a birthday card for her aunt. And at that time, they eventually found the murderer. But the abductor was Frank Jarvis Atwood. He was traced So basically, they found him because of witness testimony.
Oh, damn.
And, yeah. So this guy is not the smartest guy.
The hell is that?
It's just some background spoiler. They found her 7 months later. Her remains were found 20 miles into the desert. And the only reason that they found like the skull, like they didn't find all the skull like together, like animals had scattered it. Like that's how long.
Damn coyotes.
Yeah. So on Monday, September 17th, 1984, Vicky Aston received permission from her mother, Debbie, to ride. That's such a great mom name, though.
Debbie.
Deb.
Deb, the Debster, to ride her bike to the mailbox. And the crazy thing was, whenever her kids would ask her to go somewhere, she always had them do a buddy system, where it's always like two of them. Like you're never going by yourself. But this time was like the first time she actually let her kids like go by herself. And she didn't come home for a while, so then she sent her other daughter, her 11-year-old sister Stephanie, to go look for her. And Stephanie actually found the bike, like her bike that she was riding, laying on the side of the road, and it was all fucking smashed up and shit. So the bike, it was like I said, it was smashed. So the way that they caught this dude,
I think what you're telling me, like I seen this shit on Forensic Files.
yeah, it was actually one of the episodes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So then she had gone missing, and they didn't have any leads. The only thing they had was like, oh, it was a car.
Yeah.
That's it. It was a sports car.
It was on Unsolved Mysteries.
It was on two shows. It was like Forensic File and like FBI Files or some shit, but I'll get to that right now. So a lot of people had said, people had called in saying that they had thought they saw a girl that matched her description with a younger woman. So they actually did like an artist sketch rendering. It's like right here in the corner if you want to look at it.
Yep.
So apparently she was hanging out with Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
If you think I'm sex. What is it? If you
Fucking
like my
shit. Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
So they eventually came to arrest Frank because is that his name? Yeah, it's Frank Jarvis. Sorry, it's kind of late right now. Yeah, so they caught him because he hit the girl, took the body, put it in like the backseat of his car, and then he drove off into an alleyway by a school and started like fidgeting around with the body, like trying to move it into the back. In an alley by a school, and one of the coaches that was like standing outside of the kids, he saw what happened, and he's like, "This guy's acting pretty fucking weird. I don't know what's going on, but he's being real weird."
What is that noise?
Ain't your dog?
Sounds like somebody's eating.
The dog eating food?
No, there's no food in there. It sounded like something touching metal.
That's weird.
Yeah. Continue.
So they caught this guy because not only was he like acting real suspicious, he was doing gestures at the kids. Like he was doing obscene gestures.
What?
So I'm pretty sure he was like flipping them off and shit.
Why he has a body in the back of the car?
Yeah.
What a
So that's what he
stupid
was
ass.
doing. So they eventually, so when he took off, the coach wrote down the fucking license plate, and they tracked the license plate back to 28-year-old Los Angeles man named Frank Jarvis Atwood. So the agents ran a background check, and they found out he's actually had a charge. Well, he had charges on him already about kidnapping and child molestation. When he was out in California, he got arrested for sexual abuse of an 8-year-old boy. And they ran the registration, and they tracked it down to his parents' house. And so they talked to his mom and his dad, and his mom was like really overprotective about her kid. So a couple hours later, he called them and let him know that, hey, I need some money so I can fix my car. And the mom's like, oh, I'll wire you the money. It's to like Texas, like Kerrville, Texas is where they found him. But they wired the money to there, and the dad wrote down where the money was going to and when they were going to send it. And then he took off. He went to like a telephone booth, and he called the cops to let them know where they're going to find the kid. Well, they're going to find his kid. So they ended up arresting him in a fucking like the auto shop where he's trying to get his car fixed, and they arrested him with his companion, James McDonald. So during the questioning, Atwood basically told them that, yeah, he was in Vicky's neighborhood on the day she went missing on the 17th. And when they say that she disappeared, like the time frame they gave him for when she disappeared, that he was staying at a nearby park at around like 3 p.m. That he was just hanging out there with his buddy, and then he took off to go buy drugs. And then he came back, but then that dude he was with, James McDonald, said that when he came back that they had a whole argument, and then he was like, he had like blood, like his hands were like bloody. He had like blood stains on his clothes. And he basically told them that the blood was because he stabbed a drug dealer that tried double crossing him. So then that's kind of where they found out, like, hey, I think he's lying. But then he had 2 other people that said that he spent the night with them in their trailer. And when they asked him about it, they said that it was because he stabbed a drug dealer that was fucking double crossing him. So they arrested him for that. But while there was no like actual evidence for it, they ended up running like tests on his car and then on the fucking bike. And turns out that there was traces of Vicky's bike's paint on the front of his car. And then there's pieces of chrome from his car matching on the back of her bike. So they ended up realizing what happened to her and they fucking booked him for it. The clothing from that day was never recovered though, so they don't know if he did anything to her. So
he was just trying to say he hit her on accident or something?
He's saying that,
got scared?
Yeah, he said that he accidentally hit her and that he took the body like because he panicked and then he buried it.
Nah, I'm saying this guy, he's already got a charge for being a chomo.
Yeah, so the whole thing is when they found the body, it was like so long that they weren't able to run tests to see if he had like assaulted her or anything like that. So they just booked him on the murder charge. They didn't book him on anything else. But since the whole thing, like it was such a big fucking case in Tucson, they didn't even run the fucking trial in Tucson. They had him extradited from Texas to Arizona. And they ended up having to run the trial in Phoenix. Jury selection took them almost 6 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was a big fucking case, dude. Like, everybody had a fucking opinion about it. So after they fucking arrested him, they ended up discovering the remains on April 12th, 1985. A hiker. Goddamn hikers.
Here we go, these fucking hikers.
Always a hiker.
Yep. A hiker found a small human skull in the Sonoran Desert near Tucson, about 20 miles from where the bike had been found. The skeleton had been scattered by animals. Due to the state of remains, the cause of death could not be determined, nor whether the child had been sexually abused. Dental records confirmed they were Vicky's remains. Traces of adipocere found on the skull fixed the time that the body had been placed in the desert within 48 hours of Vicky's disappearance. So 48 hours from fucking hitting this chick, he buried her. Which, I mean...
Or just dumped her in the desert.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, hey, I just hit this little girl, let me try to take her to the fucking hospital at least.
Yeah, he's
a piece of shit. So Atwood was indicted and found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to death on May 8, 1987. During his years on death row, Atwood had described by Hodgkin's mother, gotten married, been baptized in the Greek Orthodox Christian Church, obtained 2 associate's degrees, a bachelor's degree in English pre-law.
I know English.
And a master's degree in literature.
ABC, motherfucker, do you speak it?
He has written 6 books, 5 of which have been published. He's also working with people on the outside to create a website. As of 2022, he was one of the longest seated prisoners on death row. He claims this is the crazy part. He claims that the police actually tampered with the evidence found on his car, and that no physical evidence had been found placing Vicky in his car. His appeal for judicial review of his cases were denied. So basically, he said that he wanted to be retried because the police were tampering with the evidence.
Well, he already got previous fucking charges on you for molestation. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some corrupt police, but
you could have
nothing like this.
You could have took that little girl to the hospital or stayed at the scene.
I called an ambulance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because technically removing her from the scene fucks with the whole, you
That's
know, you
the
don't fuck
whole-
up with you don't leave the scene
yeah,
of an
but then
accident.
his backup option was, hey, let me put this girl in my car and drive her into the desert.
Yeah, when it should have been, okay, let me start CPR and call 911.
Yeah. So in April 2022, Atwood was one of the 20 Arizona death row inmates who had exhausted all their appeals. On April 6, 2021, Attorney General Mark Brnovich announced that his office was seeking to file an execution warrant for Atwood. And he was convicted for his crime before November 26, 1992, he would be allowed to choose either lethal injection or gas injection as a preferred method to die.
You mean gas chamber?
You guys want to guess what he took?
Yeah, I'm gonna say he took the
Gas.
lethal.
So you say lethal, you say gas?
Yeah.
You're actually both wrong. He didn't choose either. He didn't elect the method, so they ended up just giving him the lethal injection by default. He tried to fucking bamboozle the system.
If I
Didn't
don't
work.
choose, you can't kill me.
So on May 3rd, 2022, the Arizona Supreme Court set an execution date for Atwood for June 8th, 2022. Clemency was unanimously rejected on May 24th. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that's fucking hilarious.
So he just got executed recently.
Yeah, June 8th,
Wow.
the beginning of this month. He got boomed.
They let him live too fucking long and get too many degrees, and for what? You're not getting out.
Yeah, he tried to get clemency, so fuck that guy.
This
They
fucking
rejected
guy.
his
He
ass.
can Clement these nuts.
Yeah, so Atwood was executed by lethal injection at the state prison in Florence, Arizona on June 8th, 2022. In his last statement, Atwood maintained his innocence and did not apologize to the family of Vicky Hoskinson.
Hotskins.
He was pronounced dead at 10:16 a.m. That's kind of fucked up. Like, you killed this little girl and you served all these fucking years and you're still not going to apologize to the family?
People are garbage.
You're a real piece of shit, bud. His last words were, "Thank you, precious Father, for coming today and shepherding me into faith. I want to thank my beautiful wife who has loved me with everything she has. I want to thank my friends and legal team, and most of all, Jesus Christ, through this unfair judicial process that led me to my salvation. I pray the Lord will have mercy on all of us, and that the Lord will have mercy on me."
Horse shit.
Yeah, that's
May your
This
soul forever
Shit's
rest
so
with
fucked
Satan.
up, dude. I think after you're convicted, it shouldn't take this long to get rid of the scumbags.
well, they discontinued
Dude, have
the
you-
fucking what's it called? Executions.
You think death
Fuck
row's
that.
bad here? In Japan, it's even fucking worse.
So, after her daughter's murder, Debbie Carlson became a victims' right activist. She helped establish a victims advocacy group. We the People worked for the passage of Arizona's Victims Bill of Rights, which was passed in 1990 and helped institute Southern Arizona's Amber Alert system in 2000.
Nice.
The case was covered in the third season of Forensic Files and the FBI Files.
Yeah, I remember
Honestly-
seeing that.
So the
Honestly,
reason,
though, if they want to make this quick, put people on death penalty, send me up there with a gun, I'll shoot him in the fucking head. Done.
best,
I will become an
best we can do is a
executioner.
ballpoint hammer.
You're so violent.
That's fine. Give me a
But-
fucking hammer. I'm a Viking.
Yeah, it's like I said, the reason he sat on death row for so long is because they fucking discontinued it. Because did you hear about that one where they fucking gave the guy like the lethal injection, and it's supposed to take what 10 minutes to kill you?
It took longer.
It took him 2 hours.
Poor
So
bastard.
yeah, everybody was saying like, oh, he was like gasping for air.
I mean, not
and
poor
he was
At
like-
bastard.
that point, just choke him or something.
Yeah, so like
Just
he was
shoot him.
gasping
Yeah.
for air and he was like snorting. And then people are like, oh, it's terrifying. Then like the legal team and like everybody from the prison, like, oh no, he was unconscious the whole time. He was snoring. I was like, I don't know. It shouldn't take 2 hours. Like even if he was asleep, he shouldn't take 2 hours. He should have been dead within 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
I mean, if they deserve it, I'm sorry, botched or not, doesn't fucking matter. They
But
deserve
I don't know.
what they
At
fucking
some
get.
point, you got to think they don't really know what they're doing. Because for this guy, I was reading that when they were trying to put the IV in, they couldn't find the vein. And he had to direct the fucking people putting the IV in and how to do it onto his right arm.
Was it because he was a dope addict and was like
I don't think he was a
Like,
dope addict. I think,
shooting up? And I know they
actually,
lose,
he
like,
may have been. But I don't know. They said like, hey, whenever they had to like draw blood for me in prison, like they can find the like the fucking vein real easy. Because what's that fucking vein that's like on the side of your leg, like up near your crotch?
Artery.
Yeah, the something artery,
Carotid artery or some shit.
some shit. I think that's where they wanted to put the needle for the injection because they couldn't find a vein. But he's like, no, you can get it on my right arm. But some people actually thought he was innocent though. They're saying that they tampered with the evidence, but I was like,
but he fucked himself though.
You hit the fucking little girl and then you hid the body.
Exactly.
Like, what are they tampering with?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I took her to the hospital and the police picked her up and threw her in the desert.
Yeah.
Like fuck that dude.
Was he trying to say too that they just tampered with evidence on the shit with his car too? Like none of that shit was even on his car. Or
like the paint wasn't on the car or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, dude. They busted.
I don't know. Some of those, when I watch some of those forensic file things, sometimes I wonder myself though, like on some of the shit they come up with.
Yeah.
But that guy's already got priors, so he fucked himself.
Oh yeah. My main thing is it's super fucked up. Like, hey, it's been so long, we can't tell if he fucked the little girl body.
And fuck him anyways, because this happened when 87, 80.
Yeah, around there. Like the actual murder.
Yeah. Or when he was incarcerated.
Well, she died September 1984.
So they picked him up like a year after, or
so
within that probably.
So she died 84. They arrested him December 3rd, 1984.
See, that fucker lived, 94, 2004, 2014? Dude.
So like 7 months.
Like,
was free for 7 months, and then they discovered the body the year
was able
after.
to fucking, get all that shit in prison with another 30 years or more.
About, yeah.
That's bullshit.
That's crazy. Like, when they brought the death penalty back, he was one of the first 2 people to fucking, like, actually get the death penalty.
Yeah.
But
may he rest in piss.
Yeah. Fucking, it makes me sick thinking like this dude sat on death row for so long.
Exactly, dude. That's
like my beautiful wife and Jesus Christ. Like, no, dude, fuck you. You're going to hell.
Was he already married when this happened, or he got
married in prison.
See, they gotta stop with this shit.
He got a bunch of degrees and shit. He wrote books and published them.
None of that shit should be allowed. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, what's his face? Fucking Charles Manson married that chick, or she was gonna marry that chick. And found out that the only reason she wanted to marry him was so she can have his body, so he can sell it to a museum.
Fucking old Charlie.
He's like, you gold digger. I was like, you're not good for much.
Charlie.
Your butt scum, bud.
10-ply.
Yeah. Well, fuck all these people. They deserve what they get.
Not my Eva.
I don't feel bad for nobody on death row. Actually, dude, I think it's funny because my oldest sister, her husband, so her mother-in-law was like this like activist, like that was her main job. She's like activist for like illegal immigrants and all that. I was like, oh, that's cool, like help them get their papers and whatnot. But one of the causes she tried to get us on board with was getting rid of the death penalty, and I had like a whole argument with her about it. Like, she got mad. It's like, no, they're people too. They, like, if they did something, they deserve just to live in prison. I was like, no, fuck that, kill them.
Exactly.
And she made T-shirts that says abolish the death penalty, and then it had like a noose printed out on the front. I was like, that's a real emo looking T-shirt.
It's fucking nuts.
I was like, so are you guys pro or against the death penalty?
I'm pro.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wish I could be an assistant. Just give me a gun, tell me who to shoot, and call it good.
Shit, honestly, I think they should bring back the firing
squad. An eye for a fucking eye, brother.
No, I mean, honestly, me as a fucking helper in death penalties would be terrible, because I would kill people the way they murdered someone.
And so we Hunger Games it.
So if someone raped someone, I would shove a giant metal pole up their ass repeatedly until they couldn't feel it anymore, and then dismember or whatever the fuck they did to that person.
I said we get like 8 people from like death row, and then we just put a bunch of weapons and let them Hunger Games each other. And then whoever survives that gets taken off of death row.
Nope.
And then we put them right back after.
No, they say they're going to get taken off.
We commuted your sentence for another month and a half. Enjoy.
They just get a quick death.
You get a second last meal.
You get a
If you're
second
dying
last
anyways,
meal.
might as well.
You get a second last meal and a toothless hooker that has AIDS.
You get that one fucking chick from Daddy Fat Sack's story,
Eva.
but it's gonna cost you $3.
$3.
Would be the equivalent of that in commissary? Like
A ramen.
four
A
soups?
soup, maybe a couple
soup?
soups.
I
A
thought it was
soup
like
and
two,
a
three
soup
soups.
and
A soup.
a pouch of cheese.
No. A soup, a pouch of cheese, and a smoke.
Unless you really want to cash out on a fucking bag of whole shebangs.
It's possible.
What was that?
I don't know. But that'd be all we have for this one, everybody.
Oh, yes.
Night, everybody.
Good night. Been fun.